Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. In today's video, we will be discussing prop firms, when to work with them, and when to wait. We will be going over the pros and the cons, the prop firm business model, and the top 3 prop firms to trade with. So before we start with why you shouldn't use or trade with a prop firm, what is a prop firm? A proprietary firm hands you external capital, which is simulated, which is not real but virtual, just like a demo account. In that way, the prop firms can avoid a lot of regulations concerning licenses. Because if they were to hand you real money on a real account, you would be needing a professional license. Otherwise, it would be against the law. Therefore, the prop firms can avoid those laws, those regulations, by not handing you real capital but simulated capital. But what a prop firm business model really consists out of, we will dive in deeper later in this video. Why or when you shouldn't use or trade with a prop firm. If you have no consistent results, no plan in your trading, you're just treating and approaching trading like the Wild West, just here and there, doing some things without actually having a clue why you're doing those things. So first, stick to learning and understanding the basics of trading. The charts, the technical analysis. When fundamentals are crucial, like with Forex, you have to look at the economic calendar to be aware of high impact news and know when to avoid being in the market or wait for an entry. Secondly, go over to learning confluences from a clear, defined strategy. No strategy hopping and no overcomplicating. Just stick to a strategy and master that strategy. Learn every confluence in detail until every single one makes sense. Don't skip any steps. Respect the process. Put in the hours getting familiar with your chosen strategy, which you will learn from a paid mentor, a mentor you know, or a free source online. One really important thing in this process is to only work with a mentor or a source of information when they are privately or publicly verified of having a proven track record of consistent profitability with their trading, whether that be payouts, funded certificates, or bank statements of their profitability. Do not fall for the bragging about material possessions and lifestyle. This only strengthens the delusion of worldly desire. It pulls you further into the illusion that your peace and joy is found in external things. Plus, you end up with low value education. And finally, don't hope, but believe and know, and your vision shall be reality. Be a profitable trader. Think, feel, and act as if you are a profitable trader now. Don't push it away from yourself by hoping for it to be in the future. Now, a short example from my recent FTMO and the Fivers funded accounts and payouts. The reason why I don't show you my name and my detailed information from certificates and the payouts is because first and foremost, I'd like to keep this private. Why? Because seeing my face, knowing my name, seeing all the numbers of payouts and the accounts I trade with, personal and funded, is not important in the process of you getting profitable or staying profitable long term. Getting distracted by flashy numbers, possessions, and certificates is not where the value of a message lies. The reason I started this channel, the reason I am sharing this information, is because I genuinely want to share these valuable insights that help me tremendously scale in trading, get multiple funded accounts, scale my personal capital, and be consistently profitable. And these simple facts can help you do that as well. And that's all this channel is about. Not how much I'm earning, not which car I'm driving, not the trips I take or the travels. It doesn't matter who I am. The only thing that matters is the message, is the value, and of course, what you get out of that by applying it, by learning it, and by experiencing it for yourself. And then you shall know. These pictures of the Fivers come within the email they send you if you have passed your funded account or if you have received a payout. And these FTMO notifications are in your FDMO dashboard in your account when you pass verification or when your payout is on its way. So why you should trade with a prop firm? You have a consistently profitable system, an edge, a strategy you have worked with throughout time and shows to be consistently profitable by keeping it simple, disciplined, and consistent. Here are 9 keys to build this consistently profitable system. First, you learn and understand every confluence and detail of a system you choose to trade with. Secondly, you're going to start backtesting that system with the theory you have learned and with all the basics and the details of your strategy. If you are consistently profitable for, let's say, 3 months in real time, backtesting with TradingView or FX Replay, going back in time, keep applying your strategy, your system, and testing it. When you come out of that profitable, you're going to move on to forward testing, which means you're going to do the exact routines, but then with live market hours at the beginning of each session you choose to trade. For example, I trade a London session and a New York session. So every day I do my morning analysis, I set my alerts on points of interest, and I leave the charts. When I get an alert, I check the charts. Do I have an entry model? I enter. Is there no entry opportunity? I stay off. I sit on my hands. It's that simple. And after the backtesting and forward testing proves profitability, you go over to live trading, but you should start with a trial challenge. Most big prop firms have a trial challenge option in which you can get familiar, get used to their environment. You pass that trial challenge. I would recommend passing 3 trial challenges. You go over to buying your first challenge account. I would recommend first buying the cheapest or one of the cheapest account options to just prove your system. Once you are funded with that smaller account, you can move on to applying your system on bigger accounts. So you pass the challenge, you have a funded account, then you work towards consistently keeping up your system and getting a payout from that funded account. After you first received your payout, you're going to scale capital by reinvesting your payouts into multiple challenge accounts, with the goal, of course, of passing those accounts as well in a consistent and disciplined manner. Then, when things really start changing around, is when you start expanding that capital by keeping up the scaling and start managing your accounts by using a trade copier, which gives you more peace of mind, more clarity. You just execute your trades on, let's say, your smallest account, and it simultaneously executes that optimal setup on all your other accounts or all accounts that you connect with that master account. Then the prop firm business model. Why is their business model so genius? Just as I've told you at the beginning of the video, they avoid a lot of regulations and laws by handing you simulated capital. Their main profit is from every failed challenge fee or breached or violated accounts that get lost by the users. The percentage of successful traders who pass the challenges and who get consistent profits is around 3% on average. That means that 97% of traders who buy a challenge, who pass a challenge, fail the challenge or lose their account upon passing or upon trying to get that first payout. That means they get millions of dollars in fees monthly or quarterly by all those failed challenges and those lost accounts. And if you compare the number of income they generate from failed accounts, failed challenges, the tiny amount of payouts they consistently pay out to successful, profitable traders is such a tiny amount compared to the income they gather from failed challenges and lost accounts. The other option they profit from is if they have long-term consistent traders in their programs, they can A-book those traders with real capital, with real funds, and they will copy those traders for their own business, for their own trading. So it's a very smart business model. But what are the benefits for the trader? This is where it gets really interesting. First, there is no personal risk upon passing the account when you get a refund or your first payout, which means if you pay, let's say, $200 for a $10,000 challenge, you pass the challenge, you get a refund, and your first payout, let's say, is $200. 2% in profit, you ask the payout. Of course, you have the profit split, and that leaves you with a refund and a payout, which means that your initial personal risk, which was your own $200 that you put in the fee that you paid, is refunded, and you have a first payout on top of that. So your personal risk is completely out of the game, is nowhere to be found. Secondly, there is great leverage for little personal input. If you buy the biggest account on FTMO, for example, that will be around $1,000, but you have the potential upon passing the account to manage $200,000. And if you stick to your rules, you consistently wait for your edge to show up. That means that upon your first 2% payout, you will be looking at $3,200 plus the refund of your account, which is a tremendous leverage, but it only works in your favor if you keep it simple, stay disciplined, and only trade when the market presents your edge, when you have no reason not to enter. Then it's consistent scalable income when following a clear and simple proven strategy plan, also known as your edge. And that of course has to function within the prop firm's rules. There is no limit to capital scaling opportunity. Reinvesting payouts and challenges, building a multi-funded account management approach through a trade copier or manual execution if you prefer. There is no limit to the accounts you can scale up or the accounts you can add to your portfolio if you have a working system. And you can keep scaling those accounts while investing profits in personal capital, which has no prop firm rules, lower tax payments. So that is eventually the more interesting thing to do when you have scaled out multiple funded accounts with consistent payouts. When managing multiple funded accounts and personal accounts, you keep the same input and consistency with your strategy, but your average monthly P&L percentage rises in capital value, which is a really simple equation. For example, you have an average monthly capital return of 3%. Sometimes it might be 2, sometimes it might be 4 or 5. Let's say an average of 3% by consistently working with optimal setups, depending on the opportunities the market brings you. Let's say you're trading a 100K funded account. 3%, $3,000, which of course you pay a profit split depending on the firm, how much that is. But that same 3% a month, if you scale and expand your funded capital to 600K, that means with the same input, the same amount of trading hours, by just only trading your edge, doing your morning analysis, setting your alerts, and leaving your charts after, that 3% becomes 18,000 US dollar. That is great leverage of skill without costing you extra time. Same input, same approach. Now we arrive at the top 3 tier 1 prop firms for CFD and Forex trading. Number 1, of course, by my experience and by the experience of a lot of other professional or serious traders, FTMO is the number 1 most reliable, most trustworthy prop firm to trade with. They are founded in 2015, which means they were there at the very beginning of the prop firm space. And they have experienced and passed through a lot of regulation problems in the prop firm space, and they have always kept standing strong. News trading is allowed, but only with swing accounts, which means the normal standard account. You can trade news, you can hold true news. Of course, you have the 2-minute window rule of not opening or closing a trade 2 minutes before or 2 minutes after the announced news time. On the standard account, you can just trade like that. But as soon as you pass the funded challenge, you cannot do that anymore. You have to close the trades during news. And holding overnight over weekend is allowed. Again, only on a swing account or on the challenge stage of the standard account. The use of a trade copier is allowed as a master or a secondary account. So you can copy from your personal or from another funded account to your FTMO account, or you can copy from your FTMO account to your personal or to another prop firm funded account. The swing account is highly recommended. Why? You have lower leverage of 130 instead of 1 to 100, but you can hold news, you can hold overnight, you can hold over weekend. If you have very strict risk management, you're not over risking, you risk 1 to max 2% of your capital per trade, and you hold for longer than scalp trades, then the swing account is the only wise option to take, because you don't need a higher leverage if you trade like this. Then on number 2, we have the Fivers. They are also founded in the very beginning of the prop firm industry, 2016. News trading is allowed, no new orders 2 minutes before or after the news release of high impact news, which means that any account you choose allows these things. Holding overnight, over weekend, allowed as well. The use of a trade copier allowed as a master or secondary account. The recommended accounts are high stakes and hyper growth. The high stakes is just like a standard FTMO challenge, 2-step challenge with a first target of 8%, a second target of 5%. You do need 3 profitable days before you can pass the account, even if you have the profit target, which means that a profitable day is closing the day at or above 0.5% in profit of your capital, which can be annoying for some traders, but how I see it, it's just a good rule to keep it consistent, keep your risk well managed, and trade with discipline. So I have never experienced any troubles with the high stakes accounts. The hyper growth account is a bit riskier, because instead of with the high stakes, you have a 10% total drawdown and a 5% daily drawdown. The hyper growth account has a 6% total drawdown and a 3% daily drawdown max. So your risk has to be much tighter, but it's a 1-step challenge. So 1 target, 1 step of 10%. Upon hitting that target, your account doubles each time. So that's the interesting part, that if you buy, let's say, the 20K account, you start with 20K, you pay around $850, but upon passing the first target, it doubles to 40K, and you already get the payout of that target. But if you keep hitting those targets by using tight risk management, you can really scale up that capital really fast, because after that 40, upon passing the 10%, you have 80, then 160, and so on and so forth, until you get a personalized contract, if that's what you're looking for. Then on number 3, we have Funded Next, which is relatively a newer firm, but they have a great reputation. They are well grounded in the industry, having a lot of clients, having transparent, clear rules, and a very user-friendly trading approach. The news trading is allowed. No new orders 5 minutes before or after high impact news is announced. Holding overnight and weekend is allowed. The use of a trade copier is only allowed as a master account in between your funded accounts from Funded Next. So not copying to an external account, not copying from an external account. As I've mentioned in my trade copier video, they only allow VPS-based copiers with a personal VPS environment. If you use a cloud-based copier such as Social Trader Tools or Traders Connect, and they find out you've been using a third-party copier, they will deny your payout or they will deny your funded account. The Stellar 2-step account is recommended. It just has a nice buffer of total drawdown and daily drawdown, just as with FTMO and the Fivers, of 10% total, 5% daily. You have an 8% profit target and a 5% profit target for the second step. There are 1-step accounts and there is the Stellar Lite account, but they have less buffer for your daily and overall drawdown. So that's a personal choice you can look into yourself. And just two examples for futures traders. Me personally, I don't trade futures. I chose not to a while ago when I was thinking on expanding trading Forex and futures. I just decided to keep it simple, protect my edge, protect my working system. But I did my research back then and I've done it again. And to be sure to have a reliable firm that doesn't deny payouts if you follow their rules and trade consistently is top step on number one. They are, again, founded in the very beginning of the prop firm industry, but then with futures trading, they have a very steady and reliable basis to trade with. Their fees are monthly fees though, so until you pass a funded account, you are paying a monthly fee instead of a one-time fee, and that is which is interesting with FundedNext Futures, which is a new formula from the existing FundedNext company with CFD and Forex. They charge a one-time fee and they have interesting trading rules regarding futures, but for a more detailed view, I would recommend, if you're a futures trader, to just check out their pages and compare what is more suitable for your trading style, your plan. Then a trade copier. The most recommended copiers, cloud-based for prop firms and personal capital, are Social Trader Tools if you're an MT4 or 5 user, Traders Connect if you have any other platform than MT4 and 5. Traders Connect doesn't have the MT4 5 option, but they do have other options, so you can look into that. Then the VPS based, you just install a personal VPS. There are several options with a personal IP address environment, because some prop firms like FundedNext don't allow cloud-based. Some brokers don't as well. So you should look into that, what the rules are. Then the last note to end this video is always keep yourself up to date with trading rules and double check crucial information regarding your strategy. Never keep someone else accountable for crucial information or new rules. After deciding upon a firm that is reliable and it fits your strategy, double check. You can never make a mistake by just double checking the rules. And the last piece of advice, to keep your trading simple and effective, keep the long-term vision. Don't try to grasp or strive. Just focus on the process, and the growth and the profits will come. Filter your trades. Keep filtering trades, journaling your trades. Because trading less but more efficient is always more consistent and profitable than trying to jump in with every opportunity that might not be an optimal opportunity. And then scaling capital. As we've discussed in this video, there are no limits to scaling your capital. So just treat it like a professional business, manage your accounts well, and with the same input, you can scale your capital. Before you know it, your average monthly return starts to grow tremendously. This was all for today's video. If you have any specific questions or suggestions for a video, just let me know in the comments and I will be happy to create a video that answers your question. See you next time, and remember, keep it simple, stay disciplined, stay consistent.